Hi guys, Harry here with another Pokemon video for you. However, this is a Pokemon video unlike any that I have ever done before. This is going over Ed Sheeran's latest music video on his song Celestial, which featured in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And this video is going to go over how his song ties into Scarlet and Violet and picking out all the hidden little details and Easter eggs in his music video. But before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get into the video. So the music video starts with it opening onto his house, and the camera pans inside to his room as we hear, of course, the sound from Red and Blue, the first sound you hear, and it goes into his room, and as it pans along in his room has a mix of music equipment because, of course, he is a singer-songwriter, and also Pokemon merchandise because Ed Sheeran is a Pokemon fan. I think his favourite Pokemon is Squirtle. He's been, obviously, lifelong fan. And this is why he, agreed to do this music video in collaboration with the Pokemon company. So when the music actually starts, we have Ed Sheeran accidentally oversleeping, and Pikachu comes along and shocks him awake, even if it's just a couple of seconds that he oversleeps. Of course, this is a lot like Ash. Pikachu always shocks Ash awake whenever he oversleeps, and of course it's really connected to the first ever episode of Pokemon I Choose You, which is of course the first episode of the anime ever, and of course is also a connection to the Pokemon I Choose You movie, which we followed a different sort of Ash Ketchum. But the Pikachu, of course, in the main anime universe, and of course the Pokemon I Choose You movie, always shocks Ash, just like the Pikachu did to Ed Sheeran at the start of this video. So after being woken up by Pikachu, Ed Sheeran decides it's time to make breakfast, and Charmander is his breakfast making partner. But Charmander accidentally flamethrowers his head and lights it on, basically chars Ed Sheeran's head, just like Ash's Charizard has done to Ash before, and they both have a similar charred effect to like when the flamethrower animation ends. Of course, Ed Sheeran is fine just like Ash. So then we see Squirtle come along to help extinguish Charmander's flames, and it is revealed that Charmander has cooked the breakfast, so Ed Sheeran and the rest of the Pokemon go to eat breakfast. So around the breakfast table we see Pikachu, Charmander and Squirtle, who already have shown up during the video, and they are eating breakfast along with Ed Sheeran. However, there is a fourth Pokemon there, and there is Slowpoke, instead of what I thought would be the other Kanto starter, Bulbasaur. But Bulbasaur we see later in the trailer. This is Slowpoke, and maybe Slowpoke is here eating breakfast because Slowpoke has an ability called Gluttony, specifically Galarian Slowpoke, but it's cool just to see how the ability of a Pokemon that likes to eat its berry sooner could be in an atmosphere where they are eating food. Of course, the Slowpoke's showing up to eat breakfast in this music video, and of course Galarian Slowpoke having the ability Gluttony, which means that it eats its berry earlier. Then Ed Sheeran leaves his house and he goes to cross the road. However, he is not looking where he's going because he is working, of course, on this song Celestial, and he is almost hit by a car. However, then Snorlax appears, knocking Ed out the way and, of course, absorbing the blow of the car. Of course, Snorlax has been a roadblock in many Pokemon games. Of course, all the main story of all the Kanto games, that's Red, Blue, Green, Yellow, Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. It was also a roadblock in the main story of X and Y, and also in the post game of the Johto games, that's Gold, Silver, Crystal and Heart Gold, Soul Silver. It has been a roadblock, of course, in the post game of the Johto games. So, of course, Snorlax is very much used as a roadblock, which is what it could be seen by, of course, this car of course, being stopped by this Snorlax. And another cool little thing is that, of course, Snorlax, as it's been in its Roblox form, is, of course, asleep. And the only way that Snorlax can be woken up in-game is by the poker flute, which of course is music. And of course Ed Sheeran is a musician, so I just think it's a cool little connection there. However, Snorlax didn't just stop the car, it actually bounced the car away. And Machamp catches the car and puts it down gently. Of course, maybe this is to show the type matchup, because Machamp is strong against Snorlax, you know, fighting strong against normal. We then come across this lake or canal that Ed Sheeran wants to get across, and Lapras shows up to give him a lift. And this is exactly like this guy in X and Y who gives you a Lapras to cross a small body of water. And also, Ash got a Lapras in the Orange Island arc of the anime, obviously to get round the Orange Islands. Then, after going through all these perilous tasks, Ed Sheeran gets to relax on a rock in a meadow, and Bulbasaurs show up, a lot of Bulbasaurs, and they use their bulb at the back to grow flowers, like pollinate the meadow to grow flowers, of course with them being the seed Pokemon. And in the field that Ed is in, a lot of course, flowers spray up from the Bulbasaurs, pollinating this meadow. Then we go into this drawn kind of world that the Pokemon have only been seen in before, and Ed Sheeran also gets transitioned into this hand-drawn world, and we see him dancing with Pikachu, Eevee, Charmander and Squirtle in the field that Bulbasaur grew all these flowers in. Of course, all the starter Pokemon kind of here together, and then Celestial is written in the stars, of course, Celestial being a very space-like name. So Ed Sheeran has now finished writing his song in this music video, so he runs home to, go and sing it, and a Charizard comes up and picks him up and carries him home. Again, this is a lot like the Charizard ride Pokemon in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Of course, all the Alola games where we got ride Pokemon and Charizard was the flying ride Pokemon. And then as Ed Sheeran runs through his front door, we see all these Pokemon kind of set up Ed Sheeran's musical equipment so he can sing, of course, Celestial. So we see a Machamp put down a piano, we see Pikachu and Eevee doing the kind of soundboard equipment, and Ed Sheeran runs up his steps. And as he runs up these stairs, we can see what he passes on the left-hand side of him is all these Pokemon that we've seen in the video, in the drawings that we've seen them animated in. And all these Pokemon that we've seen in the video are also on the wall that he passes, and they have all been in, of course, in the drawings before the next scene where we see them in a kind of more animated state. So Ed Sheeran enters the room with all his musical equipment, and the Pokemon aren't just in handmade drawings anymore. They are now more vibrant on the screen. They have their own colours, like Pikachu is outlined, of course, all in yellow, as that is his main colour, and all the other Pokemon, of course, are outlined in their main colour. And Celestial moves from being sung in the background by Ed Sheeran to us watching him sing Celestial. And all the Pokemon in the breakfast scene are here. Of course, Slowpoke, Charmander, Bulbasaur, Pikachu, even Machamp, as well as Eevee. And also, there is the inclusion of the mythical Pokemon Mew as well. And Mew was actually in this video from the start. There was a little Mew plushie in Ed Sheeran's room at the start of this video, and then we even pan over to a TV that shows the first movie of Mew and Mewtwo fighting. And then we see more of the first movie on the TV, and we see a Pokemon trainer on a Charizard. And at first I thought this could be Trainer Red or Ash Ketchum, but it is revealed that this is Ed Sheeran as a Pokemon trainer, and I will be referring to this version of Ed Sheeran as Trainer Ed. Of course, no disrespect to Ed Sheeran, but just so we can tell these two different Eds apart. So then Trainer Ed goes down with his Charizard and he turns his cap backwards, just like we see Ash when he gets serious. And then we see a larger shot of Trainer Ed, and it has all the Pokemon that we've already seen in the music video. I just think this is so cool, adding all the Pokemon from from outside the TV into the TV. And that's not it for Pokemon. We then see Trainer Ed send out 3 Pokemon, and it turns out to be the 3 Galar starters. Of course, that's Scorbunny, Grookey, and Sobble, and all the Pokemon, along with the 3 Galar starters, help Trainer Ed get in between Mew and Mewtwo. And unfortunately, he gets hit by Mew and Mewtwo's moves, just like Ash in the first movie. And this brings Ed Sheeran back into the house. And, of course, he's tired out from all he's done. Of course, his adventures in the real world and in the Pokemon, the Pokemon first movie too. And then we see Pikachu jump into a Game Boy Color. However, this Game Boy Color is spelled with no U, which, of course, is the American spelling, because that's the market it was mass-produced for, of course, America. And this prompts Ed Sheeran to pick up the Game Boy Color, as of course we see a game starting and Pikachu has jumped into it. But the Pokemon that appears is not Pikachu, it is actually Hypno, and it hypnotizes Ed Sheeran to sleep. And then it is revealed Celestial is a crossover, of course, with the Pokemon Company, and then we get the credits. Now, I think this song is amazing. I think it was the perfect decision for Scarlet and Violet, that trailer, to have Ed Sheeran as the background song for it. If you haven't watched either of these trailers, I will link them down in the description below. Of course, they are amazing. You should obviously watch Scarlet and Violet, that trailer, and you should watch Ed Sheeran's music trailer of Celestial. I think it is great. Of course, I am so hyped for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Let me know down in the comments below, are you hyped for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Which version of the games are you getting? And of course, did you like the soundtrack of Ed Sheeran in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet trailer? And of course, if you've liked this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe, and share it out. And I will see you in the next one.